pure gaping.
I say welcome, Conor.
That's weird.
Or should I say, thank you for the invite. It's
very welcome.
Fantastic studio here you've brought us to. Have you ever heard the podcast before?
I have.
What's guest wise? Who have you?
Crazy Donnelly,
Crazy
I think, would be
Donnelly.
the crazy one. But
What'd you think of it?
and your man, McKillop, is he the Tatum man?
Oh yes, Michael.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
what'd you think
yes,
of
yes.
that?
Right, enjoyable.
It was very interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah. Potatoes and whiskey and
Uh-huh.
crisps. And
Yeah.
everything. Like, definitely different.
He's a Glenn's aunt man, isn't he?
Aye, that's right. Glenn's a Antrim.
Couldn't go wrong, man.
Yeah.
Could not go wrong.
Have you tried the whiskey yet, the Lear?
No.
Man, give that
I'm
a
not
go.
really a whiskey
You
drinker.
know whiskey?
No.
No. It's very good. Very, very good.
It's very tasty,
I've seen it
yeah.
about.
They've a black one there that's class. The black is tasty stuff. Like, oh, very good, Conor. Well, thank you very much for agreeing to chat to us and taking time out of your busy schedule.
Aye.
As you probably heard, I don't know if you listened to the crazy episode, if it had a quick fire or not, but we do a quick fire.
Uh-huh.
Basically, just random questions, and you just say whatever you want.
Sure.
No right or wrong answers. Sometimes there's right answers. Sometimes there's wrong answers.
Jude will decide.
Doesn't really matter. Jude will probably decide.
Sorry, I knew that.
No, it's just that's so Conor, to get us kicked off, tea or coffee?
Oh, coffee.
Punjana or Tetley for your tea?
Punjana.
You're right about that.
Yep. Correct answer.
Potato bread or soda farl?
Oh, a bit of fudge, boys.
Fudge.
Not potato bread, fudge. Fudge.
He's a country boy.
You call potato bread fudge,
Yeah.
and soda farls are just soda farls.
Soda farls, aye.
just
Soda
get
bread.
Soda bread.
Soda
aye.
bread.
Soda bread.
Jesus, need a translator. Bacon or sausage?
It used to be butcher, so it'd have to be bacon.
Bacon.
Know what
You
goes
say
into,
butcher?
I know what goes into the sausages, you see.
They taste so good.
Oh,
How do you take your eggs?
over easy.
Over easy.
Like American.
Book or audiobook?
Audiobook.
Audiobook, really?
You can't paint and read at the same time.
Yeah, so I was
Okay,
thinking that'd be
okay.
good.
That's fair enough. You're talented, Conor. Multi-discipline. Snow or rain?
Oh, snow.
Hot or cold?
I like both. I have to go with both there, you know.
Really?
I like my
Tepid.
I like my snow holidays and I like my hot holidays, so
Yeah.
Chinese or pizza?
Chinese.
Indian or chippy?
Indian.
And if you had to have a pizza, what would be your favourite topping?
Mushrooms and pepperoni.
Probably exactly same as mine, I say. Beer or stout?
Stout.
Has to be.
Has to be. I need to grab mine.
Yeah.
Whiskey or gin?
Whiskey.
Probably whiskey.
Even though I'm not a whiskey drinker.
not much
but,
of a whiskey drinker?
well, odd pairs at the end of the night, you know, just to
This room looks
Polish
like
it
a
up.
whiskey room.
It does.
It feels like it's, you know, you can sit here with a nice whiskey.
well, it has known to happen too. Like.
What other spirits would you drink? Vodka or any of the others?
Whiskey and gin would be the two, but the two would be whiskey.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Jameson.
Yeah, I love Jameson. That would be
Jameson
my
nice.
go-to.
Jameson nice.
Hard to beat. We're a very food-orientated podcast as well. You might have, I don't know if you heard wee bits of it, and we always bring people on with food, and it just means we can eat for free usually during the podcast.
well,
So that's no word of a lie. But we do a thing called Mega Menu, where it's a starter, a main, and a dessert. It's basically your favorite starter. What would you usually have for a starter? What would you usually have for a main? What would you usually have for a dessert? It can be a restaurant, you know, your favorite starter, or it could be, you know, your ma or your granny's, you know, prawns or whatever.
Yeah.
But we just go around the different wee meals. So for a starter, what would you say is maybe your favorite?
I would like a prawn cocktail.
Prawn is your...
Yeah.
Oh, you're a classic.
Would it be
Old school, man. Old school.
wee bit of wheaten
Wee
with
bit
it?
of wheaten and a wee bit of lemon.
Very nice.
And if it wasn't that, it would just have to be like a seafood chowder or something.
Yeah.
A chowder.
Chowder.
I love seafood chowder. Yeah, it's unreal. Love seafood.
Yeah.
What about a main? So with this, we always say, you know, you can take a steak from there, chips from that chippy, a sauce from there, you know, wherever you want. What would be your sort of
I
main?
would go down to the Manor House in Kilrea there and I would get the pepper chicken.
Pepper chicken.
And I would go up to Friar Tuck and I would get the chips from there up the street.
Nice.
I looked like the venture too far, like, you know.
Food
And
must be good.
And I do like my steak as well. I have to say, I like steak too. Like,
What's your favorite cut?
I like chump steak.
Do you?
Yeah. If you get the chump cut in the right place, it's down near the sirloin.
Yeah.
But it's bigger than a sirloin, and it's
Tasty.
good.
Very good.
That's the butcher coming out of my eyes.
We'll get into it.
What about tomahawk? Are you a fan of that?
Aye, but it's a big feed. It's going to take you a week to get rid of that, isn't it? You know?
I bought one there over the weekend, and I've third portion of it already. It's deadly though if you cook it right,
You see,
because it's fatty and it's hard to get right.
I couldn't do it. You see, in like portion, I'd have to eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
And an uncle of mine, anytime he was eating steak, he said he always ate the steak first.
Yeah.
In case there was a fire. You have to leave it, you know.
Funny you say that. I used to be a big child.
Used to be.
But from being that way, whenever we had any meal whatsoever, I would always eat everything else except for the meat first. So say it was sausages or things, so I could make a sandwich out of it at the end, so I could have more food. And it's been a habit I've always kept on.
Pan loaf. You know pan loaf left in the house.
Oh no, there'd have to be a slice of bread with everything I have.
Your bread bill each week. Dessert?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Any particular?
Nah, don't really care. Just
I love vanilla. I love
it.
vanilla ones. Tasty.
I'm diabetic, you see, so I don't really go with the dessert. I would go with the other end. But if I was going for one, it would be cheesecake.
Right. Do you take any ice cream or cream with it, or custard, or
Nah, just
keep it
cheesecake.
raw?
Yeah, keep it raw.
Keep it raw. 3 people at your dinner table. So this is like, if you had an opportunity to sit at kind of like the ultimate dinner table, conversational dinner table, people from the past, people from the present, dead or alive, you know, who would you like to sort of sit and have a conversation with? So three people.
Bob Marley.
Oh, nice.
The first one.
Be an
It'd be
interesting one, yeah.
interesting.
Did you see his movie? That movie?
I haven't saw it yet, but I was talking to a fella last week who actually met Bob Marley.
No
Bob Marley
way.
gave him a lift in Jamaica.
Wow.
This fella's from Jamaica, and he was down here last week. He was a professor, and he was telling me when he was at school, he used to have to walk to school. It was 10 mile, and if he didn't have the bicycle, he had to walk. So he was walking this day, and he was hitching a lift in Kingston. And the next thing, this string, I knew there was be 2 CV Citroens, 4 or 5 of them had passed. All these rastas in it, you know. And the very last one stopped, and out jumped Bob Marley, and they gave him a lift. And they were recording in some place out near the coast where there used to be a lot of hippies about it, and the police sort of kept a blind eye to it because they were smoking weed, you see.
Yeah.
And the wheelers were practicing out there, you see, because it was a serious offence for getting caught with ganja and the Caribbean
At that
Jamaica
time?
at that time.
Even though it was a part of their religion, sort of? Or?
Yeah, it was, but the Rastas were shunned upon too, you see, in Jamaica. They were sort of looked down on. And Bob Marley stopped and
That's
gave him a lift.
crazy.
Wasn't it? Like,
That's unreal.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
Did he have much of a conversation with him in the car? Or was he
He
too young?
said he'd
maybe?
get in, he'd just get into the back seat. Bob had to get out and let him into the back of this 2 CV, you know, and he said he was skinning a spliff, you see. And he just turned around to the back and he says, "You're not going to do this, youth. You're not going to do this." And he said that was basically the conversation.
That's unreal.
And he was an international star at that time. He was big time.
yeah.
Nuts. Very good.
Class.
You've 2 more guests to invite.
MC Escher, I think, the Dutch artist.
Oh, yes, I have actually heard of them. Very good.
He done all those sort of crazy...
What's his style-wise? What's the style?
Did you ever see like these crazy drawings where there's like stairs going upside down and there's
aye.
all that
Oh, right.
stuff.
Perspective sort of stuff.
Yeah. Him, like it's...
Have you, what, has there ever been any, like, think what age was he or what date was he about?
Oh God, man, it was at his museum in Holland, but I couldn't even tell you when he died. But he used to do these real fine like portrait drawings and stuff too, you know. But most of the stuff was like lino prints and stuff. So MC Escher, trippy sort of stuff he done, you know, it's real crazy. So Bob Marley and MC Escher, and who else?
One more.
One more. Goodness gracious. I think I'd have to have my friend Paddy Punk there. Just he's dead now, and
Paddy Punk,
he would enjoy it. He'd be a good man for the conversation. Magherafelt man. Originally, he's a tomb man. He wouldn't like to be called the Magherafelt man.
John Boy will claim anybody from
If you're close enough.
maybe Magherafelt.
Paddy would be fit for Bob Marley and MCH, I'm sure, for some great stories. You know, he's full of stories and
Brilliant.
yeah. So
Very good. Great table. Fantastic. I don't think we have Bob Marley yet, for sure.
That's a good one.
Bob Ross or Neil Buchanan?
Bob Ross, man. Who wouldn't want to meet Bob Ross? Huh?
Awesome.
Yeah, Bob Ross.
Did you know who Neil Buchanan is?
Is Belfast? Is he?
I think not.
Is he not?
Is he not Art Attack?
Right.
This is Art Attack.
No, it's definitely.
Would you not want him out in your yard making something? Taking all your plant pots.
He was in a metal band too.
Was he?
Neil Buchanan.
Oh, that's the boy who used to make the stuff for the big
view.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then cool too.
And then
the beats with the shells. No, I'd meet Bob Ross.
I think Bob Ross could be at the table as well. You know.
Maybe an interesting character.
It would be all right.
I seen his film out a few months ago. It was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Neil Buchanan. There were rumours going around that he was Banksy. Or Art Attack.
Yeah.
Supposedly he was Banksy.
I hope that's true.
I hope it's not. I don't think. I wouldn't rate him.
No.
Oil paint or acrylics?
Well, I paint in acrylics, but I'd prefer to paint my oils.
Okay, well, what's your decision there?
Well, acrylics just dry quicker because I'm painting commissions all the time. You see, so as soon as I paint them, they're gone.
Yeah.
And I paint pretty thick.
Yeah, so it's just...
So the oil just was never dry.
Would take forever.
Take forever.
Does take forever.
And but it's nicer to work with. It's easier to, you could start the sky today and come in and finish it tomorrow. Whereas if you're painting acrylics, you have to do it.
a bit more time with it and let it breathe a wee bit.
Do you find it blends better as well?
Oil? Oh, definitely.
Way better, doesn't it?
It's hard in the summertime, even trying to keep the acrylic moving.
Yes.
And then you could give it a spray, and then you could just destroy it. Then you get back to the canvas again. So it's hard.
The only thing dealing with oils is you have the all smells from the white spirits and all that sort of stuff.
Keep those windows closed. Very good. Watercolor or pastel?
Pastel.
Favorite season to paint?
Wonder. I've two. Sorry, autumn and wonder.
Yeah, autumn.
The
This time of year is beautiful.
Colours in autumn's beautiful, and then I just love the snow too. So.
Very nice. Would you rather focus on a landscape, or just a landscape, or do you prefer putting, animals, objects, people in it? What have you got a preference?
Yeah, when I'm painting lanes and stuff like that, I always put a wee figure in it, just to give a bit of perspective and just give it a wee bit of life.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be a great man now for painting animals and stuff into landscapes.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. I don't even put many birds. The M's you do.
The wee McDonald's.
I
did them at school.
they work like I do them too, and I have to do them. Like.
It's good at them. Very good. Have you set of go-to colours for landscapes?
I do. I'm very basic colours. It's just more or less my primary colours, my blue, red, and yellow, and a bit of burnt umber and yellow. Pretty much it. And white, But
You find them as a good sort of base, good foundation to the each piece that you
yeah,
start?
you can those three colours, yellow, red, and blue. You can do that with ultramarine, cadmium red, and cadmium yellow. But you can also do it then with different blues, like cerulean blue or crimson and yellow ochre or something like that. It's
Big fan of yellow ochre. Just
Yellow-
love saying it even.
That sounds beautiful.
it does. It's a good colour.
It is a good colour.
It is.
How do you plan for light in your pieces?
I love painting sunsets, you see, and I find sunsets are just more interesting than a blue sky. Blue skies I find very boring, and I just love painting sunlight. The colours you get in the sunset. But where I'm living out here, I can't get a sunset. I have to go out to the field and stand out in that field. But then what I'd do is I would paint that sunset and put a different foreground in it. So you don't have to be at the north coast. Yeah, so I've done that before, driving around the country and looking for a sunset and you get there's nothing, waste of time. I drove to Sligo one morning to get a photograph of Ben Bulben. And I got there, you couldn't even see the mountain, just missed it. So if you know what's going on in the foreground, you can sort of superimpose it on. Yeah.
Do you mainly paint from like photographs or?
Paint from photographs, and when I go out, if I see something, I do a wee sketch of it as well. Sort of gives you an idea then if it's going to work on painting. It's all right looking at it through your viewfinder, but I think a wee sketch sometimes helps to make it look a bit.
Make it your own as well. Do you just like create stuff from your head then? I do
a lot of that as well. Especially as we cottagey stuff. Like I just make up. I do wee thumbnail drawings. Just boom, 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 and I'll pick one and I'll paint it.
Yeah. Have you drew enough sort of those type of things that you kind of have like a?
Aye, well, I've been drawing sort of all my life really. So I could just get something out of my head and draw it. Aye, yeah.
My next question was actually, do you work from memory or images? So
yeah,
sorry, Joe.
some memory and images. Like if you're going to do like the likes of the Giant's Causeway or Dunluce Castle, it's good to go and get a photograph of it too.
Yeah. There's so many images of those as well,
and it's good for just make sure that it's all sitting right. You can do a lot with your camera. You can edit it and crop it and all that sort of stuff and get the composition right.
Yep. Very good. I have a wee quiz here. Basic enough, but it might be hard enough too actually. So it's guess the artist's style, and I have the answers, and I have their most famous piece as well. So it might be hard enough actually. Just
I probably will, because I'm not really into that sort of thing.
Me neither, but I've heard of most of these pieces anyway.
Right.
And we could all work together on it. Leonardo da Vinci. What was his style?
There you go.
It's known as high
realism.
High Renaissance.
Aye, that's probably right, yeah. And
that's mainly the Mona Lisa, obviously, is well known. A portrait of a woman with a mysterious smile, renowned for its realistic detail and enigmatic expression.
I haven't seen it, but people say it's very small.
You seen it?
It is. I saw it. Yeah, it's small.
I seen it maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It's Louvre, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's at the Louvre, and it's under serious protection at the moment. Like
it's maybe
protesters recently trying
30
to get
years ago since I saw it.
It's nuts. You ever see Da Vinci Code? The film? That's a great. It has. I think it has bits of the Louvre and all, and it's really interesting and ties it all in. Complete fiction, but it was good. Vincent van Gogh. His style.
Impasto.
So it is a part of that, but the way they pronounce it or the way they've categorized it is post-impressionism. And it was mainly around the Starry Night is obviously his well-known one. And then we have Pablo Picasso. Cubism. And they had a one there. I learned this today when I was looking this up. There was his most famous piece that I didn't actually know was Guernica. Guernica it's called. And it was a powerful anti-war mural depicting the horrors of the Spanish Civil War. And that was like... It was like a cubism, massive
big
piece.
Yeah.
Massive piece that kind of spelled out one of the most greatest pieces of art right before the war. The World War II happened, and it was like because of that symbolism. That's why it got so popular, and that's how he came into the main sort
Picasso,
of side of things.
He was a dude, Picasso, wasn't he? Like,
he
was.
100%.
I only remember the big bull one. That's the one that comes to my mind when I think of Picasso. I don't even know what it's called.
Just called the Big Bull.
The Big Bull.
Claude Monet. He was Impressionism.
Well, yeah.
And his it must have been named after his piece because his piece was called Impression. It was a sunrise. And then Michelangelo. That's the most famous. Well, that's
Sistine Chapel.
Sistine Chapel, yeah. The creation of Adam. That was a god, was it? Very big.
The finger one, is
Oh
it?
yeah, yeah.
Like Zeus.
Is it the finger one?
Looked like Zeus and some other wee guy just touching.
E.T.
Get out. So and then Salvador Dali. His was
Surrealism.
surrealism, correct. That was the persistence of memory. I was just all the melting clocks and
Yeah.
I remember doing that at GCSE actually. Did you do it?
No.
We did like our own version of it. We had to try and do our own version and change the colour of the clock.
Yeah.
Melt it over something else.
He was crazy, but wasn't he?
Oh, he was crazy. Was he the guy that cut his ear off?
No, that was Van Gogh cut his ear off.
Artists are all crazy, are they?
No, well, there's a wee craziness
Wee
in them
bit.
there, a wee bit crazy,
Needed.
you know. Aye. You probably need a wee bit of craziness.
Needed, like, probably when you're making things from nothing sometimes, you need a wee bit of crazy imagination.
Yeah.
I was going to turn to the music side of things. We're touching that a wee bit before we get on to your origin story. We'll maybe take a wee break even. Elvis or Johnny Cash?
Johnny Cash. Yeah.
Live audience or recording studio?
Live audience.
Love the feeling of a room.
Yeah.
Just a nice... if you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, who would it be?
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix.
Nice.
I'd say there's a lot of people who would say that, to be fair. It's probably a terrible question by me.
But no, there's loads, but Jimi Hendrix I think would be.
It's hard to look past that, isn't it?
Yeah, when I was learning to play guitar, I thought it was the reincarnation of Jimi Hendrix.
Where did the music come from yourself? Like where? Who inspired that, or what inspired?
Well, when I started playing guitar, I think I was about 13, and I was just mad into heavy metal and rock music, you know. And I had this guitar that I made myself out of a hurling stick.
No way.
With some bits of fishing line down it.
How did that play?
Oh man! And I had this like one of those big sort of star shaped at the bottom of it. And I used to be sitting in the living room just plonking this thing. Now I was getting tunes out of it, you know.
Shit.
And there was this fella in their house who was painting the house, and I think my man and dad was just like, Jesus Christ, will you leave that hurling stick down? Because everybody was bing, 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 like a goat shitting on a tin dish. That's what it sounded like. And my mother said to this boy who was doing the painting, do you know anybody that can teach him how to play guitar? For he's mad about it. And his son-in-law was a boy called Eugene Davey. Right. He was a good guitar player. So I got a few lessons from Eugene, and then Eugene says, then from here you just take it on yourself, you know, and just you learn the basic chords. Mm-hmm. But that's how I started playing. But then you get into bands and stuff like that, you know. And
So way to get out and stuff, wasn't
aye,
it?
the way to get out. And
was there much of a scene whenever?
They used to go to Magherafelt, and there was steps. It's not there anymore now. Up above, what do you call that coffee shop on the Diamond there?
Diamond Express.
Ground, up above from Ground. There used to
Oh
be a bar
yeah,
up in
Crazy
this.
talked about that on his
Crazy-
podcast.
Crazy.
yeah.
I think that's where I first met Crazy. Was up in there. You know, he played in a band called Shock Corridor, and we played in a band called the Twin Hinpheys.
The Twin
Twin Hinphey.
The Twin Hinpheys.
There's
yeah.
Twin Hinpheys.
Well, we called our band after the Twin Hinpheys. The Twin Hinpheys
That's
were
random. That's so random.
because we used to practice out in their house. You see,
Ah,
and
okay.
these two boys, they're brothers, twin brothers, and
Out in the shore road.
Ballinquig out that way, but they were mad into music.
Aye.
And they just let us practice, and they had this lovely big fancy bungalow, and we practiced up in their weights room.
Aye.
So we called the band the Twin Hinpheys after them. And so we played around Magherafelt, and the bass player, his brother, a fellow called Joe Bates from Magherafelt, they used to play in a band called Sheer. Mm-hmm. So we got a few gets, you know, supporting them, and Brysons was another live music place. Brysons was great for live music back in the day. Mm-hmm. It really was. You could have went to Brysons on a Thursday night. You could have got any sort of music, you know, like from bluegrass to Cajun to all sorts. So,
That's class.
So, but Magherafelt really was the place to go for live music at that time. Yeah.
Amazing. What sort of genres did you love the most playing?
Well, I suppose when I was young, you know, I was Hendrix and stuff like that, you know. But then as I got older, the electric guitar sort of got parked and the acoustic came out then, and it was more into like folky sort of stuff. Then, you know, I liked the trad. Mm-hmm. although I don't play trad tunes, I play a few trad songs, but it was the folky thing, and that last band we had was a band called Barefoot, and that was like a folk nouveau, we used to sort of say. Our genre was new folk. Yeah,
Making your own genre.
Yeah. But yeah, that's me. And still a bit folky, you know. I like reggae. I love dub reggae and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you soften as you get older when it comes to that type to music?
You do, you know, but I'm still a CD man. I've no, I'm not.
Really?
I still got my
Spotify,
CDs.
none of that?
I've only just recently moved off tapes, like. But I'm painting there. You know, I love to, you know, especially painting skies and stuff like that.
Put on a full album.
Live Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
You know, I've like bootlegs of Jimi Hendrix playing in Sweden and stuff.
Class.
And it's good for, you know, moving fast, because when you're painting skies, you have to move fast or it dries on you, like as I said with the acrylics.
With the acrylics.
So a bit of live Jimi Hendrix or a bit of like Left Field or Prodigy or something like that, you know, something going, you know.
That's so funny that the speed protects the type of painting
Yeah,
that
it
you're
does.
doing.
It does.
So is there any other areas where you're like, you have to do like nice and slow and detailed? You put
Stick
on
on
more
Madonna for the trees.
But I used to listen to talking books then, you see, when I was painting, and I realised then what was happening was my production was going down.
because you're paying attention.
Because I
to
was paying too much attention to the book.
You're interested.
I do that too. A podcast whenever I'm working, sometimes I have to switch the podcast off because it's completely got me.
No, so I definitely have to have music on when I'm playing, and I just get it up, you know, and turn it up, and
That's great.
and it helps you get into it as well.
It
you know.
does, yeah. Especially, it's something to do with like getting into a creative. I don't want to call it it's sort of the zone, but
Place,
it's whenever you're doing that sort of stuff that you know how to do and you've done it a good few times before, like it's like a repetition sort of
On the
thing.
auto.
Music's very good for kind of getting you into that zone, and
Cruise
so you
control.
can go for like a couple of hours at it. And
In the morning when I come out, I would pick up the guitar, and I would just sit there and look what I painted the day before, and when you're playing the guitar, it just sort of takes you into the same place as the painting. It's a similar place to be, you know.
Same chapter. Back.
Yeah. Same page sort of thing, and then, you know, you just get up then and start painting, you know. But some days you could sit on for.
that sounds so cool. Just you coming in here, just playing a bit of guitar and then going up and painting.
That's my routine.
That sounds like heaven.
That's my routine in the morning.
To be honest.
Do you ever get like a block? Do you ever get like a painter's block or?
It's not really a painter's block. It's getting stuff to paint. You know, I like painting stuff that is not really, you know, not the North Coast, and it's not the Giant's Causeway, and it's just something you see you're driving along the road, and you see, and you go, oh, geez, look at that.
Like everyday beauty sort of
Everyday stuff, you know, like those boats. That's just down the band there.
That's beautiful.
And stuff like that. That there is the cutting in Glenolm, not far from your part of the world. Shit.
I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it's funny you look at that and you don't think. You don't look
Yeah,
into it,
first of all, you
don't
think it's maybe the Dark Hedges, but it's
That's what I'm saying. It has dark-headed vibes.
Glenolm's Dark Hedges.
I wouldn't say much good things about going on. But that's harsh.
Yeah. But I like to paint that sort of stuff, you know, that it's just, and then people recognize it too, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Did you always enjoy doing like landscapes? Was that always the thing?
well,
Because to be honest, I always struggled with it. I've never like
landscapes.
I've always struggled with
You see,
it.
the thing I find about landscapes is a tree's a tree. You know, you can't really go wrong. Or if you're painting a town, you sort of have to be a wee bit, you know, you have to have the right houses in the right place and the right shops in the right place.
Yeah.
Or if you're painting people, you know, you have to be right. And if you're a millimetre out on a face,
Yeah, that's not.
you're going to make that boy too fat, or you're going to make him too skinny, you know what I mean?
You'd be a bit natural with the natural world, I suppose, can't you?
Yeah. You can be a bit natural, and you can move a tree if you want, you know, and it's not going to be at the end of the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, people aren't going to notice it as much.
Yeah.
a
Or you
moved eyeball.
can take a tree out if it's
Yeah.
chopper
So
down.
you could probably be a bit more abstract with
Yeah, probably, but you still have to have it that it's recognizable, you know.
Yeah. But I do notice that some of your work is like a lot more realism than others. There's ones that you've taken.
Yeah, well, I think as of the more I've painted at it now, my style's changed a wee bit. At the start, I was just painting everything with a palette knife, skies and the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Done with a palette knife and
Very thick.
very thick. And as I getting older, I'm just starting to just leave the palette knife for more foreground stuff and leaving the stuff further away, finer. So I think that's changed my style a wee bit, but I like to try and not change it too much, but
Yeah. Do you think is it important for an artist to have a style, or?
I think it is. Yeah. You definitely you want to be recognised. You want people to say, "Oh, that's such and such. That's him." Definitely, you'd know that's one of his.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, you don't want to be seen to be like following trends. I with my job, it's always a fear that you're
copying.
You're
somebody.
copying because
Yeah.
especially if you're dealing with a client, you have to kind of follow. You almost have to keep up to date with what's going on. With trends, but you don't want to follow them. Sort of a way.
Most of the work I do commissions. You see,
Yeah.
I have an exhibition coming up in November.
Nice.
At the end of November in the Manor House in Kilrea.
Oh, very good.
Very good.
So that's the 29th and 30th and the 1st of December. So it is.
20.
So that coming up. Or no, November. The end of November, 1st of December. That weekend.
How many pieces do you have to do for that?
I'm hoping to have about 25.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow, ready to buy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm working on that at the minute. And
Fantastic. Has that put a fire under you to get
does,
them done in time? Or
Yeah.
how many have you got done at the moment? if you don't mind me asking.
Is there going to be a theme?
my theme, man, is just whatever I can get,
Yeah.
And I have stuff that I've been collecting that I want to paint, so so it's
Very
just,
good.
and that sort of stuff I can paint quicker because I'm into it. And commissions are a wee bit harder because somebody will come and say, "Will you paint this for me?"
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't float.
And it might not be something I would paint, but you'll do it. It's bread and butter.
That's it. It has to.
And I usually go and visit the place that they want to see where the light's coming from and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it's always in the back of your mind is, oh my God, what if these people don't like this?
It's an expectation thing, isn't it?
90%. You're going to, and then I'm always very nervous at the handover, giving them these paintings. It's like, oh, do they like it? Do they like it? Whereas the exhibitions, I can just paint what I want to paint, and I get great excitement out of doing those.
Do you ever get interested in? I always find it so interesting if you go into a gallery, the placements of the paintings. Like there's that's someone's job to kind of figure out this. Let's set this one here, and then the lighting and everything. It looks right before. So have you seen the room? Do you know what?
Oh yeah, I've had a few exhibitions on it before.
You've had, so you kinda
I
know.
usually have it. Always have it there.
Yeah.
Any exhibition I have it. Used to do an exhibition every year at the Gig in the Band in Portland.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I used to do their poster as well for the Gig in the Band. That's coming up this weekend, I think, the Gig in the Band. And then I started just doing them down the Manor in Kilrea. And I could go different places, but people come to see it, and thankfully, touch wood, the first night's usually a big night, and we've got a lot of people coming, and every time so far it's mostly sold out in the first night.
No way.
Is it ticketed? Yeah.
No, just come along, and it's usually mayhem.
Class.
And hopefully, I'm not jinxing myself here, but I'm like a bag of cats before. You couldn't look at
I'd
me.
say so.
Crabbit and just
nervous?
nervous.
Do you say anything? Do you say a few words?
No, man, I don't even get time. People just come in, and it's next thing you're like running around getting.
Yeah. What can you expect from the event?
What day?
What can someone say if I wanted to go, because I would love to go, and hopefully it's something I can go to.
Yeah.
If I go there during the event, what can you expect walking in?
Well, the Friday evening, I usually have a couple of young fellas come and play a bit of trad music.
Really?
Marshall Brothers, they're called. Young boy plays the uilleann pipes, and our boy's accordion, and just a bit of wine, and people just come and look around them and buy them.
Brilliant.
Hopefully. So that's what you can expect, but you expect to see local scenes and North Coast stuff too. Like, we're very lucky to be living so close to the North Coast.
Beautiful,
here,
beautiful part of the world.
Oh, beautiful! Yeah.
See, from the last, say, few exhibitions, what is different about this one? Is there anything different? Have you
The paintings.
have you a theme for this one?
No, I don't have a
has
theme.
things
It's
changed,
just as I see it, and if I
what inspires
see
you?
something, what inspires me, yeah. And inspiration can come at any time. This road I live on, I've been living down here 16 years, and there's a wee house out at the end of the road, and I've been driving by it every day. And one day I was like, look at that, if it's just whatever way the sun was hitting it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've ended up painting it in the summertime, the autumn time.
Class.
I painted it from this side, I painted it from that side. I painted it face on. Down the road, you've gone down there, down to the river, a place called Hutchinson's Quay. And there's a couple of big beech trees down there. And I was just down one day with the dog, and it was autumn time. And the sun was low, and it was just hitting these trees. And I was like, just look at that there. Just there, you walk past it 100 times. It was just that one time you walk past it and you see something in it. Like,
What's your process from when you see that? Is it a photograph? Is it
photograph and a wee sketch? Just a wee doodle. Just to see if it's the composition would work and all.
Yeah.
And maybe make a wee notice of colours and stuff like that. But there's one evening I was driving out the Garver Road. It was one of the days it just rained all day, and I had dried up that evening, but a real bad day. But over in the County Antrim over here, the sky was still black and grey, but the sun had come out in the west, and everything was lit up. All these trees, and I was driving up the road, and there was this red cow standing in a puddle. And I was like, oh jeez, look at that! She was just glowing. She was wet, and she was done this pool of water in the field, and the reflection was just bouncing. I was like, my God, where's me? No camera with me, nothing like so. I turned around and home. It was only about 2 minutes down the road. Come home or back up again, and the sun was gone, the cow was gone, and the puddle was gone.
The puddle go.
So it's
Yeah. It just you reminded me of like a core memory from years ago. I remember my mum's father, my granda, my mum told me the story, and then I realised, geez, she was doing that too. My granda used to stop if he's seen a scenery or he's seen something beautiful. He'd just stop the car.
Yeah,
my mum remembers like years ago, just stopping anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
Just stopped. Everybody out. Take this in. Have a look at this here and have a look at it.
Well, that's me, man.
Just there for 15 minutes, telling the children, there was maybe 5 or 6 of them, have a look at that scenery.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. I know that my mum did that the odd time, and my father did that too. Like, it just was a core memory. Whenever she told me that, I was just like, it's crazy thinking back now that obviously there's no cameras and all back then, and that's what people did. They just got out.
Yeah,
and they just took it all in.
Took it in.
Just took it in.
Yeah.
And then you're making that now. And it's...
Well, that's me all over, and my children and my wife are scunnered on me. I'm driving, going from here to there. Oh, whoa, stop! And even having to turn the car around, And I drive a Land Rover, and
That's class.
I drive it because you're up over hedges, you can see everything. So I'm driving along like that there,
It's not because it's a beautiful.
Well, I've always liked them,
They're class.
But it's good for seeing over hedges, and somebody says, "What are you driving a Land Rover for?" I said, "I need it for work."
Talking to the accountant about it.
Yeah.
Very good. I was going to say we maybe take a wee tea break, and then
Sure.
we could have a wee song from you if you
No
fancy it.
bar, yeah, of course.
A wee tea break.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So Conor, what are you thinking of playing for us?
I think this wee song, I wrote this after my first girl, my first born, and it's about my mother really. My mother was she was a nurse, but she was a fantastic dressmaker. She could make wedding dresses and stuff, But she was also a fantastic artist as well. And I combined from no edge over her shoulder. She used to draw. She used to get the back of a wallpaper, scraps of wallpaper, and draw these like skeletons. Every vertebrae and every rib perfect, just from her head. So I think that's where I got me painting from her. She was very creative. But the day that Eve was born, I was coming up from the hospital quarter after it, you see, and I was just blown away with this wee thing, you know.
Wow.
And it's just instant love from, and I was driving up and I'd been stuck in the gas and air all night. I was taking off the wife, you know.
High on life.
Aye, and I was coming up the Coleraine Road and I was just getting clear, and it was a lovely red sky, and I just started talking to my mum. My mother's dead. She died when I was 15, you see. And I was saying, Mammy, you wouldn't believe it. A wee girl just arrived this morning and she's beautiful. And just as I said it, this shooting star just went across the sky. Just as it come out. And I had to pull them to the side of the road and just cried.
Aye.
Along the side of the river band there, it's a lovely spot. But I wrote this song. You wouldn't froze up my fridge door there for me, like a good lad. So this is called Your Hand. If you can mind it. Whoop! There's a twinkling in the night sky, and I know that it's you. For you sent me a shooting star on the day that Eve was born. So I thank you, and I know you understand that I need you, and I still need your hand, your hand. Do you ever think on that little boy who still walks down the road? He sometimes takes your hand and sometimes he will let it go. But he loves you, but he don't understand that he needs you, and he still needs your hand, your hand. I don't think I've ever thanked you for your beautiful gift. I use it every day and when I could use a lift. So I thank you, and I know you understand that I need you, and I still need your hand, your hand. Now this seems you're stitched with love and now falling apart. I hope that you don't see it, it would only break your heart. The fabric is worn now from too much wear and tear. There's no one here to mend it, and there's no one seems to care. No one cares. No one cares. There's a twinkling in the night sky, and I know that it's you. For you sent me a shooting star on the day that Eve was born.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So that was that.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Great song.
Great meaning behind it.
Aye. It's just that's what inspired it. Was that morning coming from the hospital.
Yeah, such a good story.
Yeah.
I had to keep it together there while you were singing that.
But that's my problem. I often have to keep it together. My voice gets a
shit
bit.
for you on a podcast. Keep it together.
See your last 30 views on YouTube. That was me. That song's class. Like I do love it. I have to admit that.
Did you know that story, John? Before?
I didn't, and I actually listened to it, and it resonated with me as well. My father passed away
Right.
10 years ago, and I had my first son before Christmas, and I was listening to it, and there were similarities, and that's why I really enjoyed the song. But I was wondering, what was the gift and that your mother gave to you? I wasn't sure. So the dressmaking was really nice, sort of thing to hear about the background of the song.
She really was brilliant and very humble. She had this great talent, but she was great artist. Like some of the drawings she done, but she didn't pursue it in any way at all. In those days, you're too busy trying to make a crust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was a nurse, so. But the dressmaking was in her spare time, and she made these, like, this was in the 80s. You might have seen these big, like big flamons, that big massive wedding dress. Like some Lady Diana would have worn.
Yeah.
Just big,
Where do you start?
just big puffy ones.
Sorry, not in close enough.
Amazing. No, very good. That actually sets us up well for the origin story. We're going to just sort of discuss, earliest memories. What was your childhood like? What was your sort of first kind of memories back in the day?
Well, we used to live up this big long lane, and I was the youngest out of 5. And I was the wee late thing, spoiled rotten, and. But I was just left to, go wherever I wanted, just through the fields and wandering, and nobody ever looked about you, And it was always on my own because the rest of them were all that bit older. And it was just like, there wasn't a field I wasn't through, and huts and stuff like that, And then there's just this old boy that lived over the fields from us, a boy called Joe McMaster. I used to go and sit in his house, like Kilrea with him, And he's one of them old boys that had the old hearth floor, and the crane over the fire, and the pot had been on the fire. And I can always remember the smell in the house, It was just such a lovely smell. I suppose it was like turf fire. But that was before I started school. And I started school just before I turned 4. So I was 3 still when I was at school. So this was before that. I had just been wandering. And then my neighbours on down the lane, the O'Neills, and I used to go into their house, and
it was great back then. Kids were allowed just to.
You'd like to do whatever you wanted,
go nuts.
And
Go.
I don't ever remember anybody coming out and saying,
Complaining?
"Come in," But it was a great memory up at that house up in Drummagarner. I loved it.
Where's that at? Is this in
That's
Kilrea?
just outside Kilrea. You're heading towards Magherafelt. And it's just way on off the road. And nice wee community too, so it was. But that would have been the earliest memory. Then my earliest memory then, I think, of seeing anybody doing any art would have been my mother.
Yeah.
Just watching her doing that, and I suppose then you picked up a pencil and tried to copy her what she was doing, But then I remember when I was at school, it was at Crossroads School, and I'd done this picture. It was of a lorry, and it had a trailer on the back with Pepsi. Messed up and got me a bottle of Pepsi on the way to school that morning, you see, and I drew the logo onto the back of the lorry. And I had this big sunset behind it. But the teacher, Mrs. McGill, she said, God almighty, that boy, he can draw it. I was only P1 or something like that, and he's way above, what he should be able to do. I was in the background, So I always remembered that, and that's just sort of a wee thing that sort of spurs you on in that direction. Then that was always my dream then to be an artist, But when I was growing up, my mother died when I was 15, and my father then was left to do the whole bringing us up, and I wasn't going to go home and say, come home from school, what are you going to be, son? I'm going to be an artist, Daddy. No, you're not. You're going to get trained, you're going to go out there and you're going to do something, So the art thing just sort of. So when I did leave school, then I went to, like everybody at my age at that time, went to the training centre, which was in Ballymena, just in Gilgorm there. And this was a thing that you just sent you to it, and you could go around all these different trades. You'd done a bit of plumbing, you'd done a bit of bricklaying, and if you're lucky, somebody would take you out in a work experience or something like that, you know. So I spent a year in that place, and that was a crazy place. It was, you know, these young boys, you know, 16, 17, fucking headers. Headers. So I ended up getting a job. They asked me what I wanted to do, and at that time, what I really wanted to do was be a sign writer. You know, the old-fashioned signs. Yeah. I wanted to do that because I was making posters and stuff for local businesses, and so that I got a job with a sign company then in Ballymena. McAtamney signs they were called, but unfortunately, it was more of the vinyl cut letters. It wasn't the actual.
They didn't do that. They
didn't do any of that.
I always found that was so the hand placement.
Use one of those there.
Yeah.
I'd use that for painting. Yet you know a mall stick you call it. But they didn't do it. But so it was a job, you know. And I was getting £25 a week, and I used to cycle to Ballymena. I was mad into the cycle at that stage, so I used to ride to Ballymena, and so what happened then was the boss man, he died. And then the wife was taking it over, and she just was cutting it down a bit, you know. So I was the last man in, so I had to go. So I found myself unemployed for a day or two. Then my brother was a butcher, and he says, McAtamney's just looking for a butcher. And I thought, butcher, I don't like to butcher, like, you know. Like, so anyway, the job came along, and I ended up sticking at the butcher's for, I think, 7 years or something like that.
You must have started enjoying it then.
I did enjoy it, you know. What I enjoyed about the butchers the most was the crack. We had some crack, you know.
Really?
It used to be some steam. There were a group of lads who were good fellas, and we used to be up to every old trick of the day, you know. And what we used to do was stick 50p's down to the street.
I'd see and watch
boys try to pick it up, you know, stick it down a bit of cigarette.
I've seen that.
You were sitting cutting the beef. Look, here's your man. Look. Stuff like that. It was always good crack. And the man I worked for, Oran McAtamney, he was a brilliant man, really funny. And
they're still in the town, aren't
yeah,
they?
still in the town.
I see them on one of the streets.
A big Oran. We were doing a spring clean of the shop one time, and I was up in a step ladder cleaning fluorescent lights. And this is after hours, you know. And Oran pulled up alongside in the van. He goes, "Jesus Christ, young fella, watch yourself up there, watch yourself." I says, "Oh, I'm grand, Oran, I'm grand." "But if you filth me, you'll smash them counters." And then I remember another time I was washing the bacon slicer, a big blade, that big circular blade, and that all down. I was washing it. Big Oran come down. He goes, "Oh Jesus Christ, young fella, watch yourself with that, watch yourself," because real sharp thing, you know. I says, "No, I'm not near the blade." "Oh no, this is if you blunt that, you know how much it's going to cost to get that thing sharpened." So I enjoyed the butchers, you know, but I was always scared of cutting myself. You know, and you could give yourself a real good nick. You know, my brother, he stabbed himself one time. The knife slipped out a hind and just and right into him. He's lucky enough.
Were you out the back, or were you?
No, both out the front and back. But I think butchering's changed now. They don't do much boning in shop or anything like that. So we were all learning how to bone beef and.
Can you do all that then?
Can do all that,
That's a really good skill to have,
I haven't really used it much since. I've used it in Australia a bit, but
would you use it for your cooking yourself?
I'd use it for that, you know, and chopping beef and stuff. But so then I decided then that I wanted to maybe go and do A-level art or something like that, you know. And there was this course going in Limavady Tech. They were doing like an A-level thing, and then I wanted to go on and do a foundation course in Limavady. So I packed in the butcher, and I went and bought an old Land Rover, and I set off travelling around Ireland then for 2 months before I went to the Tech. You see, I thought, I'll just do this and I was sleeping in the Land Rover. I was a crusty, like, you know, I had long hair at the time, but I let it go to dreads and all this stuff.
What age were you?
I was about 22 at the time, I think. So I was a mature student, you know, to go back and do A-levels, like, you know. And my plan was I was going to make money by busking. Yeah. So I was going to Galway and places and just busking in the streets. And
so you started, was the bands and all that sort of stuff started?
I'd been in bands and all at that stage, and we were in this band called Dent at the time. I think we packed that in, and then I took off on my travels. And I was just going around different trad festivals and stuff, you know, and It was a great old time.
Are you lonesome?
I've been lonesome, aye.
It's been some crack, some experience.
That was great. It was lovely. Met some great people and still know some of them, you know.
Did you get round the whole way?
Oh, aye. But I mostly stayed to the West Coast, you know.
It's beautiful. And
The Fla that year was in Listowel. But anyway, before that, I was busking and I got to Westport and I was making enough money just to buy 10 cigarettes and a box of Weetabix a day. You know, that's what I was living at. I had no petrol in the Jeep, I had no gas in my stove. I was just completely bankrupt. So I had all these drawings that I had in the Jeep of like Christy Moore and people that just, you'd be sitting about a lot of the time and I was just nothing to do. So I was just doing these drawings, you know, like portraits. So I stuck these up and get your portrait drawn here, you know, in the middle of Westport.
Oh, very good.
So the first day I done that, I got 75 punts on my first day.
holy shit!
Yes.
Back on the, so that,
You thought you were a millionaire?
I thought a millionaire, like, and the first thing I done was go and got myself a feed, you know, proper feed, and I had it off then that evening. I went to Clifton. There was a horse fair in Clifton, and done the same thing the next day in Clifton, and really, that's how I kept myself going then, you know.
That's class. So you were you were a paid artist at that.
Paid artist at that stage. So there's loads of portraits around Ireland, and you know that I'd done
You
it.
signed them and over again.
Oh, I signed them. Aye.
They'll be coming out of the woodwork after this podcast. Valuing them. They got it up on eBay. Very good.
You make it 25 quid for one. So I done that for that summer, and had a great old time. And then I've come home and then went to Limavady Tech, and I didn't really like it, you know, because I thought they were just going to be teaching us how to paint and stuff like this here, but it wasn't really like that. It was like you've got to do your own thing, and you've got to show where you got these ideas from and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, man, I just want to paint, you know, that's what I do.
Yeah.
So while back to the butchers
No
for me,
way.
yeah, and then I took off then the following year around Ireland again in the caravan and done portraits again for another year.
Class.
And then my wife now decided we would go and do a bit of travelling. So we went to Australia. Spent a year in Australia, and then we went to America from Australia to America, and spent I think 6 or 7 months in Australia, or in America, in Boston.
Where did you meet her?
Kilrea.
Oh, you
Didn't
met her
know,
in
I
Kilrea.
don't travel too far, man.
Was that during the butchery or?
It would have been, I suppose. I was a butcher when I met Alex, yeah.
Very good. And then you headed off to Australia. What was the plan for Australia?
We were just backpacking, you know. We landed in Melbourne, and we bought a 1977 Ford Falcon because we were getting $3 to the pound at that stage. So we landed in Melbourne and we were loaded. I think we had something like fucking £500 each or something, you know.
Class.
So we bought this 1970 Ford Falcon. She's now 1970s motor, you know.
Uh-huh.
And she was 10 foot long or longer, you know. She was this big long thing. And she was white, and we painted her like a zebra. Put the black stripes on her, you know. And we toured around Australia in that thing. And we had a great old time. But we worked in this place called the Riverland, this wee town called Berry, where they did a lot of fruit picking and stuff, you know. Mm. But we worked there for maybe a month, and then we moved on. We went to Sydney. But when we were in Sydney, Alex got a job in this insurance place. And this was like 3 or 4 days drive from Berry, you know. It was like, it's a vast place. But it was a call centre sort of thing, and this woman phoned one day and to Alex, and Alex says, all right, what's your address? And she says, it's Berry. Oh, she says, Berry out in the Riverland. She says, yeah. Alex says, we were there, you know, about 3 weeks ago. We were picking fruit there. Oh, all right. Alex says, you might have seen us. We were driving this car painted like a zebra. You were driving a zebra car? Fucking years. Because it's only a wee small town, you know, this fucking zebra was driving about. Rita. So we done that whole backpacking thing and enjoyed it all right. And then we went to America, and I just got a job in a building site in America. Made a few pounds to come home, you know.
Uh-huh.
I came home, and I thought, what the fuck did I do there? What I come home for, you know?
Yeah.
Just everything was
Did you
exactly the
enjoy
same.
America?
I did. I enjoyed America. Yeah, I did.
What brought you home?
I think I maybe just got a bit homesick, you know. And you know, you miss friends and stuff like that. You know, a big community of friends.
Whereabouts in America?
Boston.
Boston.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I met some characters there.
Massive
I
Irish
actually met this really famous artist there. Now, for the life of me, shame on me, I don't know his name, but I was in this pub one evening after work and I had a sketchbook with me, and he was just sitting. He says, "Could you mind if I have a look at your sketches?" He was just sitting at the bar beside me. I says, "Aye, surely." I was going, "Jesus, those are brilliant. You know, you should be. Do you do this full time?" And I says, "Look at me, man. I'm working a building site." No? And it turned out he was an artist, and he says, "My studio. This was in South Boston. Mm-hmm. South Boston at that time was a bit of a scary place, a real dangerous place. You know, it's just if you want, you can come and see my studio." So we went to the studio, and it was a real cool spot. You know, this cool studio, and he says, "Do you want to? What is your dream?" And I said, "I want to be an artist, but I really wanted to go to art school." And he says, "Nah, don't do that." Yeah. You know, he says, "You know, if you do that, you're going to be maybe pushed down a road." And I told him the whole story about wanting to go to do painting and the Glasgow School of Art. And he says, "Aye, but then they'll teach you how to paint. You know." He says, "What about doing it yourself? Mm-hmm. You know, and then you'll find your own way." Wow. He says, "That's the way I done it." And what he didn't paint, but he made these collages out of like scraps of paper. Made these big, massive, you know, maybe 10-foot square canvases of big faces, or maybe just a big eye, all made out of like newspaper cuttings. But I'm really ashamed I didn't get his name, you know. But he was definitely an influence on me, you know. He made a mark, and he said, you know, if you want to be an artist, just be an artist. Don't have to go through the whole bullshit.
Told you it was possible.
Told me it was possible, and he wasn't arty-farty or nothing like that, you know. He's just a real down-to-earth sort of guy. Yeah, but he was a big name in Boston and America, but as I say, can't bloody remember.
Do you think that's why you wanted to come home?
Possibly, you know. But then I come home, and what did I do then? I worked on a farm for a while, and then this job came up in Belfast. A friend of mine owned this shop called the Rusty Zip in Botanic Avenue. It was like a second-hand clothes shop.
I feel like I know Rusty Zip.
So I went up and worked on that for him, and I had a friend, Mickey Madden, was in Belfast at that time. My wife, Alex, she went on to Scotland. She was going to do nursing in Scotland. So she was gone, and then I moved to Belfast and worked in the Rusty Zip, and it was great because me and Mickey got a band going. You know young James Heaney from Magherafelt, you know him?
I know the name.
James. So we played this Lumina, it was called, and we've got a few good gigs out of it. You know, we were playing around Belfast, just doing that whole circuit, the menagerie, and I really enjoyed that. And then we were paying rent in this house, you see, and the woman that we were paying the rent for says one day, you know, we're saying it's a lovely wee house we've got. It was up the Armour Road. And she says, you know, the rent just pays for the mortgage. She was running us into town. I was thinking, sitting in the back seat, and I was going, what the fuck am I paying her mortgage for? You know, I could be paying my own mortgage. So we bought this wee house in Kilrea and moved back to Kilrea. And then this job come up in a glass studio. They're looking for like doing creative, like sandblasted glass and stained glass and that sort of stuff. So I applied for that and got that and loved that. And then that developed on then to us doing a lot of the design work and stuff like that. And
where did you do the design work? Was it on a program or?
No, sketch, man. No, I'm computer literate. I don't do any computer work at all. I can switch.
Real artist.
Again, but I enjoyed it because I was working with architects and designers, and they were coming and saying we need this piece for. We were doing fused glass where you melt glass and put different colours and stuff into it. Yeah. And I've done a few church windows and stuff like that. So 2007 came along, I just started building this house, and the whole thing changed. Ended up back in the butchers.
It calls
you every time.
Calls me back in McAtamney's.
Come back, Conor.
Gotta make those sausages.
I was in McAtamney's, and then this other fella gave me a shout. He wanted me then to go and work for him in a wee glass studio up in Slaughtneil, a place called Diamond Glass. So I worked up there for 3 or 4 years. Mostly stained glass windows and church windows and stuff like that. Loved it, really loved it. I loved the place. loved the place where I worked at, and I loved the people up around Slaughterdale. I thought they were real nice
they're
people.
cool,
If they're for you, they'd carry you in their back. So I loved that.
What were you doing with the glass windows? Was it the cutting of the shapes?
Cutting the shapes and building lead and actually painting the windows then as well.
Oh, very nice.
So it all had to be done in a kiln. Ancient technique. And I've actually tried to do it on paper or canvas, that technique. Like it's the complete opposite of painting. You put a wash on. Say you're doing a bit of glass, and you put it on real fine, and it turns to like a powder.
Right.
Do you ever see the dirt in the back of a car? You know where you can draw your finger onto it.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing. You know, you brush out the highlights, and I loved it. Really loved it.
It sounds like you've been around all these different mediums of art as well. Like,
Yeah. So I'd done that, and then I was painting the odd painting then at home at night. And there's this fella then who dealt a bit in art, and he started buying a few paintings off me. And
what was the subjects of those?
it's just landscapes or whatever again, man. Just whatever I saw, you know. That's what I always have done. And then Philip said to me, the boss, he says, you know, why don't you try? Because I had to go down to a 4-day week or something at this stage because there just wasn't as much. Not many churches been built. You know what I mean?
Less churches.
Yeah. But we're doing houses and stuff too. But so I thought to myself, you know what, I'll just try this, you know. So I started a Facebook page, and I had a backlog of paintings and stuff here, you know, that I'd taken photographs and stuff of. And I started a Facebook page and wasn't even on Facebook, knew not the first thing about Facebook, one thing or the other. And the next thing I started getting all these clicks, and people started liking it, and next thing it sort of took off for me, and then I started doing the poster for the gig in the band. I was doing an exhibition there. That was the first exhibition I had at the gig in the band, and it sold out. And it was great for me because the conference wasn't great, you know. Because I didn't go to art school. I don't talk the whole arty farty stuff, you know. I'm a butcher, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not
Imposter syndrome.
I'm not going to go. How big?
Put the thumb out. So
No. I don't like that whole thing about art either, you know. I don't like that whole, you know, how does it make you feel? But when I was working with the glass, I got to do a job along with Terry Bradley. You know Terry Bradley?
Yeah.
And
Don't know him personally now, but
I've
seen his stuff
a
lot of places.
He got to design a big doorway for Victoria Square. Do you know that place? Did you ever see the big doorway with the Terry Bradley face on it?
Yeah.
Black and white. Well, I made that.
Wow.
I made that for Terry Bradley, or for the company he designed it for. So he designed it, but then they didn't know how they were going to get it onto glass, and that's when I came into it then, and I was able to work out how we were going to do that.
Yeah, transfer it.
So I got to work along with Terry, you know, and you know what? Soundskin, you know, I thought he was going to be all arty-farty, but he wasn't. And he was the same as me. He was just like, I hate all that shit, man. You know, I can't stand that. And see all that carry on about critics going, oh, well, I don't like this work because it's blah, blah, blah.
And your mind must have been racing a wee bit, though, that you were working alongside him with that piece. You're probably, as you were doing that, you were like, I want to do more of this. I want to do more of my own stuff. I mean,
exactly. And I told Terry that, you know, and he says, what are you going to paint? And I was like, I don't know. and my day was going to paint like flower scenes and you know, like traditional music and all that sort of stuff. And I did do a bit of that, you know, but I think it was the landscapes that I tried a bit of portrait work too. Like, as I say, I used to draw the portraits, but drawing a portrait and painting a portrait,
very different. Two
different animals, you know. You know, you've got colours to contend with when you're painting it, and there's so many different colours in a face. It's unbelievable, like blues. And you even think, who the fuck is blue in a face? You know. So I can still paint a portrait, but the length of time that it takes you to paint a portrait, to paint a landscape, you know, as I say, a tree's a tree. You can paint a tree, but and when you're painting portraits, you're just not going to get paid for that detail of work that you're going to put into it and that thing that's taking you to do it, you know. So.
Yeah.
So I just decided a few years ago, I was coming up to Christmas and I was flat out and had 3 portraits to paint. And I says, you know what, I'm not doing these anymore. So I just stopped painting portraits. I'll still do an odd pencil portrait if somebody came, you know. I'll do but I'll not paint them anymore. So
Just take too long.
Yeah. Too long, too stressful too, you know. Most of the time, it was dead people, you know.
Yeah.
Wee bit of
You
pressure.
get that right.
Wee bit of pressure on
You
there.
get that right,
Yeah.
like, I suppose, don't you? That's how you would feel during it.
Yeah, and the postman used to come in there, you know, and he just, oh, I see dead people all the time. I paint dead people was going to be, but it's just the pressure of that, you know, and so I decided not to do that anymore. And
What do you think you enjoy more about the painting? Is it more the artistic venture of it, or is it more the craft of it, of getting?
It's just getting, I get a great buzz out of seeing something that's just, you know, you drive by it, you know.
Yeah. So it's capturing those moments.
Capturing that
what-
wee spur of the moment. Like a few years ago, I was doing an exhibition, and usually exhibition time, what happens is I'll come out here and I'll just sort of more or less live out here. I'll just paint all day, all night. I'll go upstairs and lie and sleep for an hour. But I came to the end of it. It was about another week to go to the exhibition, and I said, no more in. I can't do any more. I'm just spent. Can't do it. And I was taking some paintings out to the fellow who was doing the framing for me. And on the way home, it was a Sunday morning, I remember as well. Driving home, and it was a foggy enough out in the morning, but the sun was just cutting through. And I was driving past this lane just up the road, and I was like, my God, look at that. And the sun had melted one side of the lane, and this side was still the bluey, you know, frosty thing. And that green was just popping, you know. And I stopped, and I painted it that day because I was like, so excited. But that gets me, you know.
Yeah.
And I love stuff like that. I love that when that happens, you know, just getting a wee gift sort of thing.
yeah.
Take that area, son. Yeah, no one for you.
So it's sort of meant to be almost kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Perfect place, perfect time of the day.
Right time, right place. Yes. But it happens every so often, you know. Just something nice comes along.
And see, when you see something like that, there, are you? Do you know exactly how you're going to paint it straight away? Once you see it, is it almost in your head straight away?
You can't wait to get at it. You know, you're etching those boats. I just couldn't wait to get painting those when I saw
You
them.
knew exactly how that paint was going to turn out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
And how long did it take for that sort of process to like end up like that, or has it always been like that?
what do you mean now?
I mean, like, has it ever been a stage where you're like, oh, you seen those beautiful sceneries, and then you went to go paint it, and you're like, oh fuck, this isn't working out.
It's not. Doesn't
Does that
it,
not happen,
It doesn't
no?
happen. Not really. You know. No, it's never happened. Thank God. Touch wood again. But
We're here to rock your world, Connor. I'm sorry.
you get excited about it. You know. Like,
Yeah.
There's a wee painting over there behind you there, that lane, and just the lane, the snow.
Yeah.
And that was one evening one morning I was walking down there. That's just on down the lane here. I was just walking down with Bert, the dog, and like, how many times have we been down that lane? And it's one of the biggest liked paintings on Facebook. You know, they've got something like 1,000 likes or
Beautiful
something.
though. Do you find the likes of snow, whenever a season like that is put onto a piece that you create, it does add that extra layer of, you know, whimsical magic to it?
Definitely, yeah.
Are you constantly outside walking the dog whenever it's snowing?
No, man, as soon as if it's a snow day, I'm in the Land Rover and I'm away. Me and Bert are just driving through the country, up
Trying to find
lanes,
something.
just driving around everywhere. And just, I'll say, right, I'm taking a snow day here, and I'm just drive, take a flask of tea.
That's
and
class.
I love it, man. I love it.
That's class.
And
That's probably a good thing about your work, is that it does take you outside. Then you're not stuck in here all the time.
No. And I just love getting out and seeing if you can see things.
Yeah.
You know,
Your dog's class as well. Is it, what breed is that?
he's a Labradoodle.
Labradoodle.
Yeah,
They're unreal. They're such a lovely
He's
dog.
because after I finished working, you know, I worked in butchers. I was always with people. Worked in the glass studio. I was always with people.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I was here on my Jack Jones.
You had none, yeah.
I know, and I always liked people. You know, I like working with people, and then the next time I felt a bit lonely. And the wife was going to work, and the Waynes was at school, but my wee girl, she wanted a dog, and I was like, geez, I don't know about a dog, you know. look after it. But then she said, but you're home all day. I suppose, so we got this dog, and now he's just my old mate. You know, he comes out here and he just
old mucker, just
yeah, my old mucker. You know, and he's always ready for.
So there's probably a spot there. He just chills.
He'll lie anywhere, man. He'd lie there. You know, he just Bert, come on now.
closer to you the better. That's what he thinks.
And when I'm finished, I spray my board. You know. And he could be lying there out for the count, but see, as soon as he hears that wee bottle of spray, and he's like, right, where are we going? Come on, let's go.
What are you taking me?
So,
very good.
So he's an old mate, and you can talk to him, you know. Well, what's the crack, Bert?
Yeah.
He looks at you. You really think he knows what you're fucking talking about?
They do in a way.
Do you ever paint him?
No, I haven't, but I've got some real clinker photographs of him.
Have you?
He's a poser, man. He poses. He really does. He's like,
oh no.
What do you think of that?
Oh no, you caught me.
I swear to God, it's just... Or when we got into the field there to take photographs of the sunset, he's like, oh, looking into the sunset, you know. Like,
you can't help but take one of them. What about the photography? Do you ever venture into that? Or?
Nah, I don't really know enough about photography and cameras and stuff.
It's a real art that itself.
It is, yeah. But I'm just a point and go. But the photographs are more for the composition of the whole thing, you know, and you can see it in your viewfinder. Oh, look at that, and you can you can crop it in afterwards to make it balance and stuff like that. So I don't really need to be, you know.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between someone that has an eye for photography and someone that has an eye for like painting or design or that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think we're allowed more chances to get it right. If you know what I mean. We're a photographer.
Yeah.
That's the moment they have to get that moment.
Like I was talking to a friend, Robert McLaughlin, Portland, good photographer. And he said, do you take photographs? And I said, like when I go out to take photographs, I'm like,
yeah.
No, because I don't want the sun to go when you're not. And he says, well, I'm different. He said, I just go out and I'll stand in that one spot. I need to get somewhere in my head where I'm going to photograph. And I'll stand there for 2 hours until the light's right before I'll even take a shot. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm different. And a computer crashed on me last week. There's that many photographs, and I've lost a pile of stuff. And then the Wayans are saying, oh, you're not going to paint it anyway, come on.
Very good. I was looking at some of the content you put up on Facebook. I think it was it might have been lockdown. Maybe was it? Did you have some?
Oh, yeah, I done live painting classes.
How'd you find them? It's probably something you were a wee bit. I'm not forced to do, but it was something that you began during that time.
I don't really know what notions took of doing it, you know, but I think everybody wanted to try and help in some way at that time because it was such a weird thing, wasn't it? Like, you know, and I thought, well, if people are at home and want to paint,
you could kind of give them.
You can give them, you know, because what if you're at home, what do you do all day? You know.
Did you enjoy that teaching side of
it? I did enjoy it because I enjoyed the feedback I got from people asking me questions live on air, you know. And trying to, but my daughter, she was doing the camera work for me with the phone, and my son then he was doing all the background stuff like putting the paint out and all that sort of stuff. You know, this is going on behind the scenes. But I remember one night, in the thick of this painting and Eve was like, she was nudging me and I look round, and Rory's just sitting there just covered. I thought it was red paint. I thought, oh Jesus, what's he doing? I couldn't say anything because these people are watching live. But it turned out his nose was bleeding. But I did enjoy it, you know.
You didn't
got a lot of feedback from
Bob Ross or impressions.
Well, if you're going to do Bob Ross impression, you have to be able to paint, you know. Yeah. But I had a good friend, a man called Tommy McGoldrick, and Tommy was one of my famous artists around this part of the world. But he was always somebody I looked up to all my life because he was a family friend, and he actually sold a couple of paintings to Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. Bought some of his work. Wow. But he was a great man, and his. Like I was his protege sort of thing, you know. He never showed me how to paint, but he would encourage you, keep doing it, just keep doing it, and he never said, no, you're doing that wrong, you're doing that right. He just said, whatever you're doing, do it, you know. So I used to go out and visit him, you know. But he came out here one evening and him and his wife, Mary's, the pair of them were like a double act, you know, but he's dead now, Tommy. He was 80-something at that stage. But a real character, and miss him for just wee tips and stuff. But he was out here one night anyway, and he's saying, how are you getting on? I said, I'm having trouble, you know, road colours, you know, that's really great. And he says, have you got any canvas here? I said, I've got some upstairs. I was painting in the house at the time. So him and Mary and I goes up the stairs, and he just started painting. It's actually over there behind the drum kit there. He started painting this painting just like that, you know, and he's like, blah, 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 blah. And a minute or two, you know, it's just this painting just started coming out. But Mary was there, and Mary's going, aye, Tommy, maybe it needs a wee mountain in there or something, Tommy. And Tommy's, all right, Mary, huh? Wee mountain goes onto it.
Class.
And then she says, and Tommy, put a wee house on it or something. Oh, okay, Mary, okay, I'll put a wee house on it. She painted this wee house onto it. And she says, it needs a wee figure or something down on that side there, Tommy. Oh, okay, Mary. He goes, you know, Mary usually paints these. I just sign them.
There is always a very like smart, intelligent woman behind the men. Like
that, definitely.
you gotta admit that
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
They're doing something in behind that gives you that, you know, we kick to do different things.
Well,
get the
like my
perspective.
wife does a lot of like that Facebook stuff for me, because I haven't a clue, man. And I really should be doing more, you know, videos and stuff like that, you know, for likes Instagram and that sort of stuff. But I can't be bothered, man. You know, I just can't. When I'm painting there, I just want to paint and not be worrying about getting a video made of it. You know, and
takes you
out of it.
Probably
I think
takes
sometimes.
it out of you. Yeah.
Aye, it's enough to get the painting done without thinking how a video is going to work out. You know what I mean? I'd nearly need somebody to come in and do a video for me. But nah. So she does all that sort of stuff for me, you know, and emails and all that. You know, but I wouldn't be.
It's needed in this day and age. Like, but
Yeah.
you get on with your stuff.
Do the creative
She can help
part,
with
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the other bits and pieces. Tell me this. The first time I actually seen your stuff, and started this whole sort of reaching out to you was, I do bits and pieces with Peter McIntyre.
Yes.
Different bits and pieces with him, and I was looking through his videos. I was looking at his different musicians and stuff, and different singers and stuff. I think it was Jamie Sloan, and then yours came up, and I was like, "Holy fuck! I didn't know this. I've never heard of this guy before." And then like Crazy Donnelly, maybe 2 weeks later or something, was showing me his guitar. And he goes, "I know that name, Conor Larkin," and I typed it in. I go, "Fuck, he's the guy." I was like, "This guy, he's a painter, he's a musician, he's
a butcher.
He's a butcher. He's butchering things.
Shuck digger.
He's a shuck digger." What brought you to get a video done, for example? Like, where did that come out of? That you wanted to put yourself out there? In a music
Well, I didn't. Now, Peter, Peter, a friend of mine, and he just says, "I'd love to do a video of you sometime, man." I said, "All right, no bother." And that was it. I didn't. That was really how it came about.
Peter's very good for that sort of
he
stuff.
is.
If
He's great.
into something like
he's
that,
into it, man. He's a good fellow, Peter. I like Peter.
Yeah, good photographer too.
Aye, he is.
Very good.
So, and he comes down here sometimes and just, "Do you mind if I take a photograph?" And I tear away. I'm painting away, he just takes it on and snap away. Like, but that was how that thing came up about the video he done at that time.
it was beautifully shot. Like, it was.
Aye, we done it in here. Like,
I've seen it. It was stunning. Like, just the whenever you mentioned to us, you're like, "Do you want to come around to our studio?" I was like, I texted the boys. He says, "Come to the studio." we're going to the studio. No flax this Wednesday, lads. We're going to the studio.
Not as much stout here, but
It's okay. It keeps us a wee bit more. The last time we were talking about Crazy Donnelly's episode. Like, that went downhill fast enough. I don't know how we made 3 hours.
I know I don't live in Marley anymore, so I can't. I can only have the one.
But speaking of the studio, talk to us a wee bit about the studio. We'll maybe take a wee video of it after, just on our phones even, and show it off. But where did this come out of? You've 2 studios. Maybe is that that's the
yeah, that was the original place there I used to work in.
When did that come upon you? Was it you were?
I was working in the house, and I was upstairs in the house. But the problem was, I'd been working late at night, moving about, and you need the music, and people trying to sleep, Wayne's trying to sleep, and there's me thumping about upstairs. So a mate actually gave me that. There was a porta cabin. I put a wee curved roof over the top of it, and we called it the caboose. So I moved into the caboose and painted there, and I loved it, because I was away from the house, and it's sort of like you're away to work. You go out in the morning, you're away,
Disconnected.
Aye. So I loved that. But the problem with the caboose was it just wasn't big enough. I couldn't get back off the paintings far enough. I had to go out across the yard and stand and look through the window. You have to get back off them, to see if there's something wrong with it or whatever, So I just needed a bigger place and built this.
What's the story behind it here for anybody at home? It's just a man cave, like in terms of everything. And after hearing your story and hearing everything about you, you can it just oozes that kind of this is Conor's
I want this
hideaway, like.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it, but like what inspired this room? What inspired the building itself?
Well, I don't know if you, I just needed somewhere bigger, and I, as I say, that was just getting too cramped in the caboose and cold a bit too, so it wasn't easy heated. And I can like that thing there, and I actually like the winter time coming out here and getting the fire lit.
Oh, it's lovely.
Especially it's made it's tin, like, and if it's raining, the tin is lovely.
Beautiful noise.
Love it. So
well, what about this room? Is what makes it right? For
well,
you
I
to do
wanted
your
somewhere
work?
where I could paint and play music.
What about all the wee trinkets? So we've got like a wee mini crocodile.
Yeah,
these just a wee.
we travel a fair bit. We like our we got that in Louisiana. Where
Nice.
we done a road trip there a couple of years ago from Houston, Texas to Miami, through New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
And love that. I love going road trips and stuff, and just to pick up wee things along the way.
Yeah, because that's what I love
But
about
most
this place.
of the stuff I get is free. I love stuff like that. I got that in the moss. It's just a bit of bog oak. Found it lying, and it's
beautiful.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
You just pick up stuff as you go along.
I can see a wee aerial photo of your house there as well.
Yeah.
You see them in nearly every house. And
we have one.
Do you know that the fella came to our house and said they've got an aerial photograph, and I looked at it. Nah, I'm not into that. No, I don't want it. So away he went. And my father-in-law, he lives up the road.
He bought it.
I've got your house.
And I'm so glad he did now, because I'm in it cutting the grass, and my daughter's actually on the trampoline, and since that photograph, that's all been planted with trees out the back.
Yeah.
So that's the forest out the back.
Yeah.
So
You look back
I don't
and
see the value in it until 80 years time.
I know, when you look at
yeah.
see the changes.
So I'm so glad he bought it. 'Cause
Yeah, we have one of our old houses.
yeah, every house nearly had one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see them in every house I go into.
Now you just have to go onto Google Earth and do all that.
I know,
sort of stuff.
exactly. They don't
Take your
know.
own-
They don't know the struggle.
Take your own meats now.
I use Google Earth sometimes. Like this woman was commissioned a painting, and it was in County Kerry, and she gave me photographs. You see, but the photograph just didn't show me where the road was going or something like that. And I was like, I'm not driving to Kerry, just to see.
6, 7
And I just
hours.
needed something down in the foreground. And onto Google Earth, and sure enough, I got it. And it was a lovely wee lane, and I was able to use this lane in the painting. Then, so that's technology, man.
There you go.
It's all about the technology.
And he says he's computer illiterate. Look at that.
Well, Google Earth,
Creeping around Kerry, just around all the lanes in Kerry. Very good. Very good. I think we'll maybe finish it up there.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed this.
I just want to just say a wee thank you to everybody, and then Connor, if you have another wee song you want to play, you can even play us out.
Sure.
Will that do?
Well, I'll play a wee song about my favourite old mate. Will I do that?
Sounds good.
About Bert.
Sounds good. Just gonna thank everybody.
100%.
Well, thank you guys for making the trip down.
No problem at all.
No problem, man. This has been
Absolutely
Really-
buzzing
really
about this.
appreciate it.
To be honest, really looking forward to it. It's a wee bit of us, just the art and obviously music.
Yeah,
and
no, it's
being able to chat
so
about this
interesting.
stuff you don't get to do it every day, to be honest.
I
It was
really
fantastic.
appreciate it. And I've been looking forward to it. Actually, to tell you the truth, I was a wee bit nervous about it.
Yeah.
bit
Oh, here it's understandable.
It is,
Like it is.
yeah,
It is.
nerve-wracking
I've
thing.
only recently stopped getting nervous about it. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're on to 66th episode. Like,
Yeah.
Right enough. Is that how many?
66 now. Yeah,
Wow.
we've 25 video, 40 audio. And I still do get nervous, If it depends on the guest.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I didn't feel nervous today because I enjoy talking about this stuff, and I've a passion for it all. If there's a guest we have, and I'm not as savvy on it or something, I'll get a wee bit, anxious. But when you get into it, like they realize we're here for a chat.
Exactly,
and we're not taking it too serious.
It's been really interesting to talk to an artist and kind of get that. I know you're not saying you're a butcher. I get it.
I know, but I don't really call myself an artist. I'm a landscape painter. But,
exactly,
because artists are like different.
Yeah, but I think there's a whole thing about like art and craft, and I think craft has a lot more to do with it than art does. Most of the time, and that's what I enjoy talking to artists about is like the craft of the thing. Like, how was that created? How did you do that? How, where did you go to find that inspiration and all this? And like, so it's been really interesting to hear your story and hear where all this sort of came from.
But it was out at the children's sports day one day, and I got chatting to this man. I don't know him. He didn't know me, and he says, "What do you do for a living?" I don't want to say, "Oh, I'm an artist," He goes, "I said I'm a painter." Oh, very good. And do you do wallpapering as well? We bit.
You just go,
not as much. Not as much as you used to, but
harder to discuss, I suppose.
Yeah.
So just want to thank obviously Conor. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you,
Jude. Great for you to be here as well.
Absolutely.
Fergal, thank you for coming too.
You're welcome.
Thank you to all our listeners. We have over 3,000 monthly listeners now, and a few watchers here and there. Appreciate all your time. Appreciate you listening to us.
Can I put this on my art page for?
Of course.
Yeah.
I will link you. I'll send you it all.
And then I have to say thanks to all the people that follow me on Facebook too, because they're so nice. Every week I put a painting up. There's so many comments and stuff, and I have to thank them. Because
that's class.
It inspires you. It keeps you going. Definitely does.
That's unreal.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. What's the song you're going to play us out with?
This is a wee nonsense song, but a lot go too serious, But it's one I wrote about Bert, my dog.
Fantastic.
And I have to sing it in a sort of slight American accent. Sorry. But it's a country song. So.
Good.
I got a friend, his name is Bert. He always knows when I've been hurting on you. By the look in my face, he's never in a hurry or a panic, and he'll never win a race. He doesn't have much to say, but that don't mean that he won't pay attention to your every move. With a rattle with the keys, he's up, he's ready for the groove. And did I tell you that my friend Bert's a dog? A sniffing round, pissing round, hubcaps kind of dog. He sniffs, he licks, he scratches, and he stinks. But he don't give two fucks what no man thinks. He could bang a drum with his wagging tail and keep you amused when you have failed to see the good things in life. He's like a metronome, he will keep you in time when you're slow. He could pick you up with his K9 tempo. He lifts his leg and he pees on a tree, then he sniffs the air of that bitch Phoebe who lives on down the lane. She broke Bertie's heart when she took up with that boxer called Dwayne. And ever since the day poor old Bertie, he has never been the same. And did I tell you that my friend Bert's a dog? A sniffing round, pissing round, hubcaps kind of dog. He sniffs, he licks, he scratches, and he stings. But he don't give two fucks what no man thinks. Every now and then when I look in his eye, I can't help but think there's a soul inside hitchhiking this universe. He's only passing by, but he's sure to make you smile when he does. He's only passing by, but he's sure to make you smile when he does.
Wow.
That's Bert.
When's that been released? Very good, very good.
Well done.
Thank you very much, Conor.
Thank you very much. Boss.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great fun, great time.
I enjoyed it.
We'll call it up. We'll call it there.
Yeah.
Cue the board up.
Brilliant.